Hello and welcome to another episode of Roots and Resilience, a leadership podcast by DBNC where we have conversations about leadership. We hope that these conversations build insightful and engaging perspectives as we journey in our lives. My name is Christian Fox, and today I am joined by a guest who actually has the distinction of being our very first repeat guest, Meagan Dogra. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Better now that I'm here on the podcast. Thank you so much for having me. I had no idea that I was the first person to come here twice.
Yeah, first one.
I love it. Where's my crown?
Well, actually, we're getting it made. It should be in by next week.
Okay.
But they ran into a problem at the distributor's plant, but we'll get that sorted out.
Every time. Is it engraved?
It's engraved.
That'll do.
Okay, I'm glad. I think you'll like it, but they do have a really good return policy if it's not to your liking. We'll get that sorted out for you.
Good company. Love it. Customer service.
Always, every time. So today you are here to talk about kind of your new role, because last time we talked, you were working with the NICE team and you were working with the youth that would come in, or that I should not say would, but still come in every day. But you've had a bit of a transition in your role. Can you maybe talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So like Christian said, last time I was here, I was a youth facilitator with the NICE program. Now I got a new role. It's the community resource coordinator, and I'm with a new department called the Outreach and Development Department. And one of my duties is overseeing our newest initiative, which is called the Community Care Closet. It's very exciting.
Yeah, that is really cool. And I've heard a lot of really great things about the Community Care Closet. So why don't you tell everybody what it's all about and what you're hoping to achieve with it?
Absolutely. So the idea for the Community Care Closet actually started from the community and from our clients coming out and reaching out, telling us that they are in need of basic necessities. Unfortunately, with everything that's going on in society and inflation and all that good stuff, it's really difficult to just allocate funds for basic necessities. So we are really lucky to have people that work here, like our staff, that is super intuitive and they understand what's happening with the community and they listen to their clients. And so that staff and working with funders, we were able to start the Community Care Closet, which is really exciting. The purpose for the Community Care Closet, just to clarify, is a way to provide safe and dignified access to individuals and families that are in need of items such as diapers, feminine hygiene products, food, clothing, as much as we can provide. Like I said, it is called the Community Care Closet, so it is a closet, but we are working on it.
Yeah, I saw the closet 2 or 3 actually before Christmas, and it was just really impressive, all the stuff that you had there.
Thank
you. Of course, where does that stuff come from, and how can people support the closet?
Absolutely. So there's so many ways that you can support the closet. What you saw was in-kind donations, and right now we are accepting food and personal hygiene donations, just in case anyone's interested. And then the next more common way is monetary donations. So you can find both of those options on the CCC webpage. CCC is AKA for Community Care Closet. So moving forward, I'll just be saying the CCC to save us some time. And then some alternate ways to support the Care Closet are media promotion, to have remarks regarding the Community Care Closet at upcoming events, collaborating on social media campaigns with DBNC and corporate engagement opportunities, such as fundraising events, volunteering opportunities, and donation challenges. So right now, we love collaboration, and we're super open to creative solutions. So we are accepting any form of support and any new ideas. So we're super open to ideas.
If you think you have any creative fundraising ideas, definitely reach out to us because we'd love to hear from you, and we just really want to make this something that we can all be proud of. So one of the things we talked about off air, and we've had conversations about, when we telling me about this project behind the scenes, you've mentioned that you really want to make sure that people have dignified access to it. Why do you think that's so important?
So there's a lot of stigma regarding food aid, any type of aid in society, really. And there's 2 issues with that. So one, I feel like people who want to donate are kind of discouraged to do so because of this stigma. And even further, people who need to receive these aids aren't comfortable reaching out and getting these supplies because of all the stigma and honestly a little bit of social anxiety around it. So the way that I like to operate for this process to work is for me to create channels for individuals that cultivate respect, that cultivate inclusivity, so people feel comfortable and visible in society. So it's super important for us to work together and to take down those stigmas for this to work.
Right. I think that's so important. I think, reducing the stigma, because I think there is a lot of stigma around that. And I think what you're saying is very true. So how do you go about achieving that?
So one of the things that is really interesting and I found important to have was on our intake form. This is just one thing that we do, but on our intake form, we make sure that there's an anonymous tab that you can click on, just in case you don't want to share anything about yourself. It's not necessary. We also don't ask for any personal information like household income or anything like that. If you need items for your home, we're going to provide that for you as best as we can. And then another thing that is super important to us is the inclusivity aspect, making sure that we have culturally sensitive foods or things that are going to reach out to the members of our community that are seeking out items for the community care closet.
Right. I think that's so important. It's not something that I even really thought about, but I think it's great that you're thinking ahead. Like, okay, we want to make sure that people have access to our closet, but we want to make sure that it's culturally appropriate for the clients that need it.
Exactly.
And I think
it's
that's
the
wonderful.
Dignified point of it. It's like you're going to find the things that you would find at a grocery store.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think that is very, very cool. And it's so great that you're doing this work.
Oh, thank you.
So one of the things you mentioned early on when chatting about this is that you offer feminine hygiene products. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of the stigma around it?
Absolutely. I really enjoy this question because periods are still very taboo
for
individuals, but it's super important for us to discuss period poverty. So, and I'll describe what period poverty is. It's basically menstruators are having difficult times finding and buying period products in plainest terms, right? And so period products are a necessity. And unfortunately, people are having trouble allocating their funds to go to that necessity. And I can go on for days talking about the stigma and the social construct and the social issues around it. Like if I'm in a public bathroom, I'm not paying for toilet paper.
Right. Yeah. I had to do that once in Europe and I was like, what is going on?
Exactly. Because it's a basic necessity. And I find it absurd that we have to pay for menstrual products for a biological function that I didn't ask for. But anyways, the real issue with this is the fact that individuals that get periods will keep their menstrual products in for longer than the allotted times because they may not have enough of these products. And that calls for a skew of health issues. You can get UTIs, there's infections, there's toxic shock syndrome, and so many other reproductive issues that can be persistent through the rest of a person's life. And so it was super important to us when we were building the community care closet that we had access to period products. And we actually reached out to a company called Period Purse. They are fantastic, and they hooked us up with so many feminine products. Like we're going to be handing these out for a while. And people will not have to keep their personal products in or wear them for longer than they should because they have access to them now.
Yeah, that is really great to hear that you're able to do that. And it's something that I just don't know much about. So I think being able to highlight the fact that, hey, this is actually a serious challenge that we're dealing with.
Yes.
And that, people who do menstruate are finding it very difficult to get the equipment and the tools that they need to be able to do that safely.
Absolutely.
So I think it's wonderful that you're doing that.
Thank you. There's so many things around it when it comes to culture, to shame. I know a lot of females and individuals that experience menstruation are shamed for going through this biological moment in their life. So it's really interesting. And there's so many studies out at the moment that are telling us, okay, women in their lifetime and people that menstruate are spending up to $10,000 in their lifetime on menstrual products.
Wow. I didn't know that it could be like that much.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of change.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But do you know from your experience and your research, where that stigma comes from? When it really is, it's just science. It just happens. No one, like people don't ask for it. It just is part of being a human.
Right. It goes way back. There's a myriad of reasons why there's stigmas around it, but it goes all back to shame. Right? So that's my opinion anyways. I believe that women have been made to feel for the longest time to be ashamed of their bodies, to be ashamed about this biological thing that happens. And I know that in so many different cultures, people are actually not allowed to go out when they are menstruating, people are not allowed to take part. And just naturally, I know a lot of people, they don't want to take part in their daily activities. I believe the number is like up to 70% of people on their periods can't take part in certain things. So it's just a lot of shame. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so just to clarify, when you're saying 70% they can't take part in things when they're going through their period, is it because of the pain or just purely because of the shame aspect?
I can speak for every person that has a period for sure. But I think it's first of all, what your body is going through. There's raging hormones. It's a lot of things happening. You may not feel well. You may be experiencing pain. A lot of people, especially now in 2023, are experiencing symptoms like PCOS and endometriosis and other really, really excruciating issues with the reproductive system. And honestly, a lot of these do have to go back to infections like UTIs and toxic shock syndrome. And that's why, again, it's so important for us to have the proper access, because I've been fortunate enough to have access to menstrual products for my lifetime. And these things happen sometimes. But people go through this every single month. So as long as we can cut that down, we're happy to help with the struggle with period poverty.
No, I think that's really wonderful. And it's like, I'm still kind of just processing this idea that people will spend tens of thousands of dollars on this.
Yeah.
When it is something, as you point out, it's biological. It shouldn't be something that you charge for.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, which we have time, so we can definitely get into that. But it's just, it's I don't know what to say. I'm shocked by that. And I'm really glad that, you're able to kind of step up and see that there's a need for it and really help make sure that anyone that needs these products can get access to it.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important that we have companies like the Period Purse and FemCare to come out and have this mission and spreading the awareness that people should have access. They have the right to have access to period products.
Right, exactly. And I think it's great that we're making a small step, but we're getting there and we're trying to help.
Absolutely.
Now, you've mentioned Period Purse as a sponsor. Do you have any other sponsorships you're working on or that you can speak about?
There are a few in the works. So we really started just a few months ago. I want to say in December, we really got into it. It's January now. So we've come a long way with our physical in-kind donations that I was telling you about. When it comes to sponsors, I don't want to name drop yet.
Okay, that's completely fair.
I don't want to name drop yet, but we do have a few in the works. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So I guess we'll have to have you on for round number 3 down the road.
That's not my goal at all.
Would you hey, anytime.
Just tell me when.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, people are accessing the services, but can you tell us a little bit about how people can actually join the Care Collective and what some of the benefits are of doing that?
So I mentioned ways a little earlier on how to support the community care closet, but we are actually we've actually created a care package for individuals with benefits. And some of those benefits include being aligned with an initiative that's doing great things for the community, receiving branded video updates on our webpage and DBNC's YouTube channel. So shout out our YouTube team. That's going to be amazing. So we have name recognition in DBNC's annual report, dedicated social media posts, invitation and speaking remarks at the CCC events and engagement opportunities. One of my favorite benefits, I'm so excited about this. One of my favorite benefits for the CCC is called the Care Collective Package.
Okay, I like that.
Right? It's kind of cool. So this package is basically a toolkit for fundraising for individuals and other companies or even organizations that are interested in starting their own community care closet. And so when I started in this position, I was like, I wish there was some notes, or like I wish there was something that I can follow so that I know that this is going to be successful. And the goal here is not to gatekeep at all. We know that this is such a necessity in society, and the only way that we can help other people in society with food insecurity and clothing insecurity is by sharing our knowledge. So this package is so fun. I can't wait for people to start making their own community care closets and helping the people in their area.
Yeah, I think that is really great because I'm sure a lot of other organizations and even individuals are kind of wanting to do the same thing. But as you say, there's not a lot of blueprints. So to be able to kind of share that knowledge so people can look up, well, how do I do this? Ah, now I know how to do it. I
Absolutely.
think goes a long way. And then that's very impressive.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it.
I also feel like, some videos in the future might be beneficial to help people out too.
Oh, they're
which we'll
coming
talk
with this
about.
YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's coming.
Good ideas. So one of the things I heard through the rumor mill is that you're actually looking for a Care Collective champion. Now, what does that role involve, and what qualities are you looking for in that person?
Okay, I'm very excited to talk about this. Our care champion, or champions, will basically be the face of the community care closet. We also want this individual to be able to relinquish stigma around food aid, food poverty, and like clothing insecurity as well. Just align themselves with the community care closet mission is our biggest goal, of course. This individual would also be attending care closet events. They would support using their platforms to help us out as well.
Yeah, that is really cool. So if you're listening to this and you're excited by it, where can people go to actually try and audition for it?
So not necessarily an audition. However, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to Prathi. We also have our social media strategist, Chand. She's amazing and has great connections as well. So they can reach out to any of us and we can have that conversation and look through their platforms and then just make sure that we are aligned on our messaging and our mission and then go from there.
That sounds like such a cool opportunity. And if this sounds cool and you want to participate and you want to get out there, definitely reach out to us because, of course, we'd love to hear from you. With the closet, you've talked a lot about what you're actually able to achieve and a lot of the benefits of it, but I can only imagine that this stuff is really difficult and actually organizing it is probably very challenging. What are you finding are the most challenging aspects of it?
So right now, space.
Space, yeah.
I think everyone in the organization that has been helping out and has been homing and housing some of the donations understand that we just do not have space. It's a bittersweet challenge though, because we had such an amazing outpour of donations this past winter. So that's amazing. But now just trying to inventory is my biggest challenge. I know my team always hears me talking about it. So that's something that I'm dealing with at the moment. Almost done though. Super excited about that. But yeah, no, space and inventory is a big challenge at the moment. Honestly, when it comes to corporate help and partnering with other people in the community, that's not the difficult part. And I thought it would be. So that's really interesting. A lot of people are super excited to help and they love the initiative.
Yeah, that is really great to hear that, companies are participating in this and that they're willing to partner because you often, I think, when you say you're worried about it, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. It's like, wait, are the bigger companies going to help us out? But I mean, it's great that they are.
Yes.
And also going back to the inventory and the storage thing, I'm glad that you're organizing that because just behind the scenes, everybody, we don't have a ton of space in DBNC, so I can only imagine how stressful the inventorying is. But even though we are very small in terms of physical space, we do a lot. We really try to help out anyone. So if you have any questions or any problems you're dealing with, reach out to us because we can definitely help you out or at the very least point you in the right direction. Now, you've talked a lot about the closet and just some of the phenomenal work that you've been able to do. Now, if you had to pick one, because I imagine you have 10 things that you want to talk about, but if you had to pick one thing, what is the one thing you're the most proud of?
Oh, it's a harder question than you think it is. This might be like a blanket statement, but
Sure.
just the growth, the absolute change from the beginning. When I started in this position, I think all we had prepared for the community care closet was the name itself. That was it. And so I started off with an empty room and now we can barely open the door. So it's those changes, those physical changes. It's surreal.
Yeah, it's incredible just being on the sidelines. I swear, it felt like it was just yesterday that you were like, "Hey, wait, you're up here now. You're in a different position. I didn't even know." And then all of a sudden, you have the closet up and going, up and running, and you have all this stuff and all this support. It's amazing to see it grow and improve.
For sure, and I'm so lucky that we've opened this up in an organization like ours because a lot of our donations have come internally from our staff and from our staff's neighbors, friends, families. So that's incredible. I also have just so much support. And like I said, I started in November, like late October, November, got the ball rolling in December. And this is where we are a month and a half later.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's going to be really interesting to see us 6 months from now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where things go, and I think it'll only get better from here.
Yeah, me too. I'll let you guys know on my third podcast.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And be ready, though. You'll have to answer this question again next podcast.
Okay.
But one question, I think I asked you this back when you were here with the NICE team. If you could go back in time without disrupting anything and tell your 16-year-old self some piece of advice, what would you tell her or tell you?
One thing that I would tell myself is to always take a chance. Because, like I said, I was here as a facilitator the last time I was on the podcast. And now I'm a coordinator. And it's all because I had support from multiple teams here, from multiple people here. And they gave me the confidence to understand, no, like, you are good enough for this position. You have learned so much here, and you can be successful. And so far, it's been really great. And it's because of the support and the confidence that they have in me. So take every opportunity, take every chance, and don't be scared. Because the worst thing that can happen is you don't get the job or they say no. Then you just find another opportunity.
Right. I think that is such good advice, just to take the chance and to really, people say that, like, obviously you don't have to wait for people to give you a chance, but if people say that, no, you can do this, listen to them, take that chance. Because at the end of the day, you might get told no, and that's it.
So true. And I think with age and with time, getting those no's is actually not that bad. It's just closing the doors that you were never supposed to enter anyways.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and getting you to a place where you can open up a different door and get the yes that you really should be getting, because that's what you're meant to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's incredible. So before we go, what's next for you in the care closet?
What's next? That's a great question. Like I said, we've only been doing this for a month and a half, really. But there's so much to look forward to. I think our next immediate goal is to find a face for the community care closet. So like Christian said, holla at me, holla at Prathy, reach out, take a chance. Because then you could be the face of a really great initiative.
Yeah, exactly. Now, again, I told you this before, but I'll say it again. Reach out to us if this sounds interesting, because we really, really want to hear from you.
Or just reach out if you want to learn more about how the community care closet operates. I'm super open, and I'll take the time to give you all of the information so that you know exactly what you're doing and how you're contributing to this initiative.
Definitely. And we'll have all that information, all the links to all the important websites and places you need to go on the YouTube description, on our podcast description. So all of that will be there for you. So Meagan, it's been a pleasure once again. Thank you for being on this podcast. It's always fun chatting with you. It's very cool that you're guest number 2, or not guest number 2, but that this is your second visit.
Yes.
I really can't wait for round number 3 because the community care closet, sorry about that, is amazing, and I really think you're doing some very, very important work.
Thank you so much for having me again. I always have such a good time with you. So just let me know for podcast number 3, and I'll be here. You know where I work.
I know where you work. I know where to find you, and we'll definitely have you back
Exactly.
for round number 3.
Thanks.